Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV Wednesday night. We bring you what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and it's pretty much what we've been waiting for all season. The finals now at Newlands this coming weekend. Big thanks of course to our sponsors that are on board of Cape Rugby TV, Hisense, our official technical partner, Score Energy Drinks. The 7 Series is coming on board. You can win yourself a case of Score a little bit later during the during the course of the show. Of course, Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. And don't forget MChem 24 Hour Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. And of course, Springbok Atlas, your bus transport solution, the company that should be now transporting you from your club to Newlands and to the Sevens. Springbok Atlas got great deals for you. Let me introduce you to my panel this evening. We're waiting for Jerome Parvada to join us. But in the meantime, we've got Labib Livia. Labib, nice to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back, JP, in this final week, which is going to be very exciting.
10 games. We've got 10 games happening at Newlands. It's going to be a full day of rugby. And this is what everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah, it's a perfect ending to a great season.
Would you have thought, if we look at some of those teams going through there, I mean, Marty's just came like a steam train. I suppose a lot of people expected Marty's to be there. They're up against Durban this weekend. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah, I think they'll still be favourites, but I think there are a few surprises in the other divisions, which is exciting for club rugby, and it will be exciting to see whether they can actually go all the way.
And of course, we've got some teams that are now back in the Super League A as well, like the likes of Primrose, jumping back into Super League A. Down for one season, straight back up.
Yeah, that's normally the case with some of the teams that gets promoted, but I'm sure that I've learned a lot from the previous time in 1A, and obviously they'd like to build on their performances this year, so I'll be very surprised they actually do get relegated again, but they'll still have to earn their stripes in the 1A again.
Yeah, no, it certainly looks like it's going to be a very exciting game. Right, folks, so as you know, we're... got Macassar up against Kylemore, Busy Bees and Goodwood, Belleville and Paarl, Union Mill and Marty's, and of course all the captains and coaches. Let's take a look at our first game now, Macassar Kylemore. Right, welcome back, folks. All right, so that's our first match there, Macassar against Kylemore. Before we talk about the ups and downs in the various leagues, of course, promotion, relegation, promotion, teams getting promoted into the various leagues, and of course, the results that we saw from City Park now going into the finals at Newlands on Saturday. Let's just look at the game itself. Labib, Macassar is unbeaten this season. Kylemore had their work cut out for them.
Well, just look at those clips, JP. You can see Macassar is quite a drilled unit. They play nice balance rugby. They shift the ball nicely into space. There's been some good offloads. They get to the line. They do some pick-up and drives to score. Also, you could see they were quite organized on defense. When they kick chase, they apply good pressure. So I can see the reason they're actually unbeaten, because they look like they have quite a skillful set out there. And yeah, it will be interesting to see how they perform the weekend.
All right, well, let's take a look at the second half, and then we'll give you the final result. This was, of course, Macassar up against Carlamore at City Park. And we'll be catching up with Macassar captain Benedict Julius in a sec. Right, so the final result there, of course, Macassar up against Carlamore, 46 points to 14. We're going to give you the next match in a second, which is, of course, Busy Bees and Goodwood. But we're speaking to Captain Benedict Julius from Macassar in a sec. But Labib, looking at this, Macassar just too strong.
It's like the passion of the crowd, but the passion of the team after the score. You can see that. What's interesting, I've just seen some guys jumping in the air, stepping, something that at provincial and national they still trying to teach players, but it just comes to naturally kick through, just natural kick throughs without planning it, cross kick tries.
They seem to have Macassar. I mean, you mentioned it yourself just during the break. Yeah. Is that a lot of those guys are playing touch rugby? They're playing beach sevens, beach rugby, and we've seen Macassar at the sevens rugby just how dangerous they are. They're a little bit like Belleville, extremely fast on their feet. They step like Cheslin Colby.
Make good decisions passing, no look pass in the one try there. It's just actually nice to see familiar people doing things on the rugby field.
So would you say that this is a combination of natural skills and coaching, or where we?
It's definitely a hybrid between the two. It's like the kids in Macassar. If you go there, everyone's in the road playing with a ball. You have these coaching clinics where holiday programs where you're paying like 1,000 rand for 3 days. For 3 days, but these people do it all day, every day.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we've read some of the All Blacks club rugby success stories, and one of the things that we mentioned there is that the kids always are almost walking to school with a ball in their hand.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the natural flair just came out in that game.
So, folks, Macassar is, of course, now heading to Newlands. We'll tell you in a second who they will be playing for that, to see, of course, who wins the league. We now know that there will be a promotion in place. But let's first catch up with Macassar captain Benedict Julius.
Yes, eerstens wil ek vir die vader baie dankie sê vir die jaar dat hy ons deurgedra het. Het was goeie jaar vir ons as Macassar. Ek wil eerstens die bestuur met al die spectators, supporters, wil ek hartlik dankie sê vir wat hulle vir ons bygestaan vir die jaar, coaches en elke speler wat vandag alles gegee het. Wil ek dankie sê. Ja, ek het altyd in die begin van die jaar toe hier aangewees het en ek gesê ons oogpunt is om 2019 Super B te speel. Ons het ons doel bereik. Next week is dit my eerste keer wat ek om Nuwe speel. Dit is 'n groot eer vir my, een vir my span, een vir Macassar. So ons gaat volhard soon toe. Ons is aanbieden tot nou toe. Ons wil nog Saterdag wat kom, wil ons wen. Ons wil, daar moet jy verloor is. Dit is ons doel vir die jaar.
Of course, Benedict Julius there, just so happy, Labib.
Yeah, he's happier. He probably set some goals at the beginning of the year, and to see the goals become a reality, it's actually good for him. I'm happy for them.
Well, in addition to Benedict Julius, or Benedict at least, who's of course the captain at Macassar, and speaking about goals, let's catch up now with the coaches that have had so much success. As I said earlier on, Macassar is unbeaten this season, and the only little blemish that they've got on their record was one draw, which was, I think, earlier on in June. But let's speak to the Macassar coaches now, Christopher Langeveld and, of course, Warren Wolters.
Ja, ek het harde weer gekos aan die begin wat ons die baie vriende weggespeel in die Boland toe die droogte was. Maar eintlik is dit soos 'n blessing in disguise vir ons gewees. Ons het lekker voorbereiding gehad, ons het nuwe coaching staff gehad, ons het nuwe spelers ingekry so om hulle in te bed waar dit was nogal 'n eintlik was 'n blessing in disguise toe ons die grond vat aan die begin van die regte season nou, die league begin het. Toe het ons nou op 6-7 games agter gehad en almal het geweet wat ons wil doen. Maar is baie harde werk en ek wil die spelers dankie sê vir ons bestuur almal. Dis nie 'n een-man show of 'n twee-man show nie, dis 'n bestuur, afrigter, spelers, alles dit het gewerk en ons die jaar suksesvol was.
Ja man, ek dink ek voel eintlik jammer vir Kalmer. Jy kan gesien het hulle moet 3 games speel in omtrent 'n week se tyd en jy kon sien in die tweede helfte het die tol geëis. Maar ek dink ons was reg voorberei. Ek dink ons was met alle respek miskien die beste span in die kompetisie alhoewel enige een van die 6 spanne kon die kompetisie gewen het. So ek ja, bly die een is verby, maar ek dink volgende week as dit ons gaan ons gaan seker om het eerste keer op Nieuweland te speel. Net baie dankie sê vir Jerome ook, maar ek dink so Jerome het donderdag so ingeslyp waar by ons en kom help met die verdediging. Baie dankie Jerome. Is altyd beskikbaar as 'n mens hulp soek. Ja man, is 'n regte was ons was aanvanklik 'n bietjie skepties oor die kompetisie, maar sien al die topspanne is absoluut wonderful.
Right, Warren Wolters and Christopher Langeveld, they of course coaches at Macassar. They've had a great season's success so far. Folks, and as I mentioned earlier on, Macassar's only blemish this season against Goodwood. That was on the 30th of June. Goodwood is, of course, up against Busy Bees in our next highlight package. And one of these two teams will be the winner that goes through to play at Newlands this coming weekend to see who wins the Super League C log. Of course, we now know that Macassar is being promoted into Super League B, and we're not going to give the game away just yet, but between Goodwood and Busy Bees, one of those two teams come up against Macassar, and of course, both those teams will be, or at least the winners here, will be promoted into Super League C. Of course, Score is on board with Western Province Club Rugby and Cape Rugby TV. Now, we've got more than 40 teams that have entered. I believe that there's still spaces available as well. More than 40 teams have entered for the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. It's happening at CPUT, starting in the next few weeks and running for a 4-week period. So make sure that you get down there. But during the course of the next few weeks, we'll keep you updated as to the CPUT activities in the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Now, if you want to win yourself a case of Score, then all you need to do is SMS the word Score to 33090. 33090. That's the short code, Score to 33090. Congratulations to last week's winner, Vivian Klaassen. Vivian, you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks. Somebody from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what happened in the match between Goodwood and Busy Bees. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263. You can catch all the repeats in the archives on our YouTube channel. Go and subscribe. And, of course, if you've subscribed, notification will pop up every upload that we make. Of course, all the clips, interviews, the coaches and captains and highlights, we upload that to Facebook, which you can find on www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. You can find us on Instagram with the same @Cape Rugby TV. And, of course, you can find us on Twitter @Cape Rugby TV. But remember, #WP Club Rugby for your common stream. Busy Bees was up against Goodwood. This was an important game because the winner here would be up against Macassar at Newlands for the playoffs to see who wins Super League C. We're not going to give the game away just yet. We want Labib Levy, our panel expert here, to take a look at the expertise between these two teams. Busy Bees, Goodwood. Right, folks, welcome back once again. We're not going to give you the final score because we want you to sit in anticipation. But as you can see, Labib looks like a very close game so far.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice, contrasting but yet similar styles. Goodwood picking, playing with their forwards, playing inside balls, getting more direct, whereas obviously Busy Bees giving the ball air, capitalizing on in the space that's available. Getting some offloads again, shifting the ball into space, and they scored some nice tries. But they play a nice, relaxed game. They're not too tense. They relax. They support each other quite well, and they scored some amazing tries there.
Well, just looking at the Cape Rugby app, and I'm looking at Goodwood's statistics here, and you know they've only lost 4 games, they've drawn 1. So Goodwood also going into this match strong.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that they lost to Busy Bees earlier in the year. It was an away game for them,
Okay.
and they lost 28-30. Again, a very close game.
Tight. Anything, it's one of those games that you can win or lose on the day. I think just Busy Bees luck, or they're making their own luck, and they probably studied Goodwood's strengths and weakness and played to their strengths and capitalize on it by getting a good win. Yeah,
let's catch up now with the second half. We'll give you the final score in a second, and then just after this we'll speak to the captain from Busy Bees, Luvo Mchapi.
One of our greatest assets are our fans, the faithful, and we really wanted to create something unique, something world-class, a supporter club that engaged and interacted with all our fans, not only within the Western Cape, but regionally, nationally, and in fact internationally. We have the best fans in the world, and we believe we put together the most amazing, unique, and innovative supporter program. And we call on you to stand together with us. Are you one of the faithful?
Right, there we go, folks. So, Busy Bees and Goodwood, Labib, final result there, 27-1 for Busy Bees.
Yeah, I think Busy Bees actually put their body on the line. You could see Goodwood was pounding the line, and they were nice and low, the way you actually defend that pick up and drive, and they were putting their body on the line, which put pressure on Goodwood. I'm sure if Goodwood had scored a 5 or 7 pointer there, the result would have been different. So well done to Busy Bees on that.
The crowd at City Park was a Busy Bees crowd. You know, in the past we've had either a Franschhoek crowd or a Hamlets crowd.
Crowd.
We've had some incredible crowds there, but Saturday was a Busy Bees day. Half the stadium was Busy Bees. The players, when they walked onto the field, walked on with little kids with Busy Bees. A lot of people were saying that the crowd, a little bit similar to the Springbok game that we saw over the weekend, that the crowd, that Busy Bees, because of the crowd, had 16 men on the field.
Yeah, the players feed of that. When they probably would have been singing and dancing, and that just gives you energy. Sometimes you're tired, but you look at your crowd and you start playing for someone in the crowd. So
yeah, that's incredible. So it's been an incredible experience for Busy Bees. Busy Bees, of course, now go to Newlands to play off in the finals this coming Saturday, because there's access for everybody at Newlands this weekend, so it's going to be a fantastic day of rugby. But Busy Bees now go up against Macassar in the Super League C final. Both those teams now being promoted into Super League B, Macassar and Goodwood. Let's speak now to the captain from Busy Bees, Luvo Ntyapi.
Yeah, it was tough, but like we've managed to pull through again. As we spoke the last match we had with Calmo, I told you that the coach had a plan to keep the other players so that we can have at least more players. As you saw the results, we won. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, but we also gonna put more pressure on those guys. They are good, but we're also good on our side. So it's gonna be amazing. It's an amazing opportunity for my guys. I hope they're gonna enjoy the feeling and the field we'll be playing on the Newlands. It's a big field, so yeah, we are very happy to get the exposures from the Western Province. So thank you guys.
Luvo Ntyapi, very happy captain there, Labib.
Yeah, not only him, if you look at the crowd behind, they were even more happier. Huh?
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, I can tell you, behind the scenes, they are planning to turn Newlands into a festive of rugby on Saturday. So it's going to be very... Hilton Pettinger is, of course, the coach at Busy Bees. We did speak to Hilton recently in the run-up to the semi-finals. But Hilton's been doing a fantastic job at Busy Bees. And, of course, I'm sure he's looking forward to Newlands. Catch up now with Hilton Pettinger, coach at Busy Bees.
Today was a tough game, but we pulled it through. And like I said last week, we take today as our final. And this is our final. This is the cake. Next week at Newlands, it's only the cherry on the cake. And we said it in the change room and we said it at halftime. Today we can make history because Busy Bees is the first black club in the history of Western Province to play Super B. So today we are 95 years old and we're making history today, Busy Bees. Renzel, that is history once again because Newlands is a world famous field and the guys will be coming out of the tunnel on Saturday, and they will be playing on Newlands and at Newlands. It's going to be great for us.
Right, folks. I don't need to say anything, Labib.
Yeah, I think he says it. It's going to be nice and diverse in the 1B, and a different playing style, and a different type of crowd in the 1B environment, which is something to look forward to.
Obviously, the fact that they're going to play at Newlands is something that's really cheering them on.
I think it will be for them and Makassar, right? So it will still be a level playing field. It's a neutral venue, but also, as I said, a world-class venue, and they must just enjoy every minute they play.
Just a final question in terms of what Hilton was saying there. It must be great as a coach to coach a team that is just hungry to play.
I could actually see tears in his eyes, and he had a lump in his throat and it's something he can be proud of. It's a massive achievement, and it's been attempted numerous times, and he's achieved something that hasn't been achieved in the past, and I really hope they pull more resources together to make a success in the 1B.
Yep. All right, folks. So, of course, Makassar and Busy Bees going through to Newlands on Saturday. All right, when we come back after the break, it's Paul up against Bellville. Another massive game this coming weekend. MChem 24-hour pharmacy is, of course, on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. Right, so if you need your pharmaceutical products 24 hours a day, then MChem 24-hour pharmacy is the pharmacy for you. They are so easy to find. It's right there's a massive sign, a big circle sign like a light box. It shines bright at night, so you can't miss it. They've just revamped the pharmacy. It looks absolutely fantastic. All your sports nutrition supplements. There's orthopedic products. There's a fantastic cafeteria upstairs. MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Get down there 24 hours a day. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, Paul up against Bellville. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We bring you the very best of what's happening in the world of West Bromwich Club Rugby. As we promised before the game, there's some other big games that were, of course, in play. But we now know that Primrose is back in Super League A. But, of course, to see who else is going to be promoted, Paul had to play against Bellville in the Super League B playoffs at City Park on Saturday. Let's catch the highlights now. Well, welcome back, everybody. Helderberg, Paul and Bellville. Labib, Paul have got some very big players playing in the Paul outfit. Some of those guys have come across from Stellenbosch. Of course, the Paul region itself is a strong region. Belleville, though, known for their running style. Competitive game, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it's quite a balanced match up until that point. I've just seen some faces. I've seen Danville Dimas, who's also ex-Blitzbook player, playing there for Paul. But they never had their own way. Belleville played a nice game. They had some good lineouts, nice offloading, some nice line breaks and some tries. But Paul obviously put some nice short passes together before shifting it out wide to score some points.
Yeah. Folks, a big score there then. Let's take a look at the second half. So the end result there then for in Super League B, let's take a quick look at that before we go to the coaches and captains. It was a win for Paarl over Belleville, then 50 points to 27. And the other match that was taking place at the same time, and we'll talk about that in a second, was of course the Primrose Helderberg game. But Labib, a big win for Paarl, 50-27, just a little bit too strong on the day. But of course, one must take into account that Belleville had to play the Wednesday game.
Yeah, I think the competition might have favoured Paul a bit more because Belleville would have played the Wednesday night game, and that fatigue, whether you want to admit it or not, it will actually kick in. Based on second half, you could see Paul just got stronger as the game progressed because Belleville would probably have been tired. But they also had a good kicker who just kept slotting those kicks away and kept the scoreboard ticking. But well done to Belleville, but very well done to Paul.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Paarl up against Primrose game in a second. Of course, that's the match that will be happening at Newlands this coming Saturday to determine the winners of Super League B. But of course, both those teams will now be promoted into Super League A. Before we go to the captains and coaches, looking at those two teams there, Labib, Primrose has been in Super League A before, and Paarl have got plenty of resources in the Paarl region. We're looking at a slightly stronger, slightly different Super League A coming 2019.
Yeah, it's nice to see some new faces like Paul, who's probably been in Super League years ago. So they would actually, they've put in a massive effort this year in terms of resources, coaching structures and new players. And I'm sure they will probably, based on the few players I've seen, they'll probably rate Booland a bit. Whereas Primrose, I've watched them now 2-3 games, and they've got a nice balanced team up front. Good backs, good coaching staff, some nice passion. But they are playing home on. No, they're not playing home. They're playing on Newlands.
Well, it's home for everybody.
Yeah.
It's home for everybody on Saturday. Newlands is, of course, the oldest rugby stadium in the world, and it is the home of Western Province Rugby. So it's the home of Western Province Club Rugby. So it's going to be a very exciting day. But we did catch up. Well, I was lucky enough to speak there to Oswald Thomas, of course, the captain of Paarl. Right, folks, with me now, Oswald Thomas, captain of Paarl. Oswald, well done. You guys must be happy.
Yeah, we are really happy. It was once again a team effort. We were a little bit slow at the kickoff, but we get some character, and afterwards we just pull it through.
Laaste paar weke was nogal baie rugby.
Ja, het is waar. Eerder na die dag wat gekomen het in. Die jaren toen lekker was afgeskopt en lekker momentum gekregen en toen is aangered. Dus zo'n lekker deel gedrukt en dus ooit 4 is hier in de semifinale en ik denk alles gaan, als je terugkijkt naar het begin van het jaar, hoe hard is geweken en ik denk dat is maar net, het is opgediend van die dag, als ze hard werken gaan ze uitkrijgen.
Sê my gou net van die spelers se kant af, hoe voel hulle reg vir Nieuweland?
Ja, definitief, de guys is gepompt. Zoals ik gehoord heb, krijg je Primrose volgende week zo weer van vooraf lekker hard werk. En dan vat ons in Nieuweland aan.
Ons het nou net uitgevind, ja. Luister, ons los het daar so, ons sien julle volgende week Nieuweland.
As jy thanks hoor, lekker dag vir julle.
Right, folks, we're running a little bit tight on time, so we're going to go straight now to the manager of Paul, Rudolf de Vere, who joined us there. But Paul, of course, heading to Super League A and heading to Newlands, very happy. But the league decider will be on Saturday at Newlands. Let's catch up now with Rudolf de Vere, he's manager of Paul. Right, folks, here at City Park today, incredible day. Belleville and Paul in the semi-finals. With me is Rudolf de Vere. Rudolf, well, it's on the way to Newlands now.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I was just glad it's over. You know, we worked so hard since February. Our training sessions and everything was focused for this game, and eventually we got it.
Belleville's a dangerous team on the best of days.
I know, they play well, but it was tough for them to come back on a Saturday because they played on Wednesday, so it was tough for them to come back.
But Paul, you guys have had a good season. I mean, you've stuck around the top of the log for the last, right from the beginning. Played a little bit of musical chairs with one team up, one team down. The guys must be happy with their performance so far.
Oh, well, we're over the moon, you know. I think it's about, I was in the last team that played in the top league, and that was about 26 years ago. So we're very happy. Thank you very much. We're very happy.
All right, good luck. We'll see you guys at Newlands.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
All right.
Right, there we go. Labib, you were right. Paul have been in Super League A before. That was 26 years ago.
According to him, yes.
Very exciting. Right, folks, we're going to take an ad break. Remember, Springbok Atlas is, of course, on board with Western Province Club Rugby and is a bus transport solution for you. They will give you the best price. All you need to do is call Springbok Atlas and make sure that they can give you a quote. So that's the most important thing here. Can they quote to make sure that they give you a better price than you can get anywhere else? And who does not want to travel in a Springbok Atlas bus? They're safe. They've got negotiable rates. They've got different sizes as well. And all you need to do is get hold of Rashad Luki on 021-506-2572. 506-2572, or you can get him on his cell phone number 082-318-4627, or email rashad.luki@springbokatlas.co.za. Right, folks, as I mentioned, who does not want to travel in a Springbok Atlas bus? They, in fact, are the same bus company that sponsors the Springboks. So when you see the Springboks traveling in the Springbok Atlas bus, well, it's a Springbok Atlas bus. So you want to get hold of somebody, especially now to travel to Newlands, and you want to be able to book a smaller bus perhaps, even for the Sevens rugby, then Rashad Luki is your guy. Contact Rashad Luki on 506-2572. You see the number at the bottom of the screen here, 506-2572. Call him during office hours, and Rashad can give you a quote, and make sure that it's a very competitive quote. I'm pretty sure that they can equal or better any bus price quote that you've got. Folks, we're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, Stellenbosch was up against Durban. That was a monster game that had to be also deciding who was going to go to Newlands to play in the finals.
One of our greatest assets are our fans, the faithful, and we really wanted to create something unique, something world-class, a supporter club that engaged and interacted with all our fans, not only within the Western Cape, but regionally, nationally, and in fact internationally. We have the best fans in the world, and we believe we put together the most amazing, unique, and innovative supporter program. And we call on you to stand together with us. Are you one of the faithful?
Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV. Just a little correction there. It was, of course, not Stellenbosch and Durban that we were filming. It was Stellenbosch and Unimill. The other match that was being played at the same time on the B field was the match between False Bay and Durbanville. Now, for those of you that are not aware of this, Durbanville walked away with a 19-12 win there over False Bay. So Durbanville go into the finals at Newlands. But of course, the other match that had to be decided was Stellenbosch against Unimill. Unimill, the Cinderella story of rugby over the last few seasons, coming through the ranks And, well, I'm not going to tell you who the winner was, but let's catch up now on the highlights between Stellenbosch and Union Mill. Welcome back, everybody. So, Labib, university guys, I mean, half of those guys have played Craven Week. The other half have played in the Western Province squad or went to the Institute. I think they're also the university champions at the moment. Playing against Stellenbosch is a tough ask.
Yeah, it's a difficult team to beat, especially on those credentials you mentioned. Majority of the team are on the Institute. Some of them are even still training with Western Province at the moment. Whereas Milnerton, who, as you mentioned, had a fairy tale few years, but the fairy tale came to an end, and I'm sure the coaching staff there will do their homework hopefully for next year. But if you're going to beat Stellenbosch, you're going to have to match them in all aspects, because they're a well-drilled team. They do their basics well. Their structure's good of the balls, of the line-outs, how they play in the 22. As you saw in one of the tries, they just keep going same side. Yeah. And either you stop them or you're going to give away points.
Right, folks, let's catch up now with the second half, and then we'll give you the final score, and then we'll tell you who goes to Newlands. Maybe Union Mill beat Marties. Maybe Marties beat Union Mill. Who knows? We'll tell you after the second half. right, there we go, folks. There is a final result then. Marty's beating Unimil 50 points to 32. So, Labib, there you go. That's your final result. It's going to be now Marty's against Durban in the final at Newlands. It's going to be a big game.
I think Marty's gave Durban a thrashing in the first round.
Yeah.
I think it was over 70 points. But it will be a different Durban outfit, and we know Durban, very physical side. And there's one team in the league that I think can push Marty's, will be Durban.
Yeah. Let's quickly catch up with the captain of Marty's, Johan Momsen.
Right, mensen, samen met mij is Johan Momsen, hij is de kapitein bij Marty's. Johan, het is weer Nieuweland toe.
Ja, het is voorrecht. Baie groot voorrecht van ons mannen, se eerste keer dat we op Nieuweland gaan speel. En ja, het is lekker om weer in die finaal te wees, 'n kans te staan om te wen.
Moet het niet vir julle teruggestaan nie?
Nee, verseker nie. Ek dink ons het eerste helfte geskrik toe hulle eerste 10 minute uitkom en 6-0 voorgaan. Maar ons het goed met die bal vasgehou met 'n geel kaart en 2-3 teen hulle gekry in daai tyd, halftyd voor 'n goeie telling op hulle gehad. En tweede helfte het ons net heeltemal te veel bal weggegooi. Ek dink hulle het omtrent al die possession gehad en goeie comeback begin maak, maar ons het hom afgesluit aan die einde.
Ons gaan seker weer met jou volgende week praat by Nieuweland, maar kom ons gesels net gou vir 'n sekond of twee oor die seisoen. Ek meen dit was net een verlies en daai was teen UCT op die tuisgrond, maar as ons kyk na die puntetelling hierdie seisoen het julle klaar meer as 950 punte op die bord gesit in 'n spasie van ek dink 6 weke. Ek meen julle het van agteraf gekom want julle het natuurlik die leidproses in die Susen gehad, maar julle moet baie happy wees met die Susen.
Ja, baie happy. Ek dink ons het 'n goeie squad poging gehad. Ons het op 'n stadium vir 5 weke in 'n ry Woensdag, Saterdag gespeel. En soos ek sê, 'n squad van 30 wat almal hulle rolle geken het, ingeslaat het en perfek gewerk het. So ons het die fatigue op 'n minimum gehou.
Ja, het lyk my julle is volgende week teen Durban.
Is dit Durban? Yes. Ekskuus, ek verbaas.
Wel, dis wat ons gehoor het.
Okay. Dis lekker. Durban baie fisiese span en baie fisiese span. Dit sal weer 'n goeie toets wees en ons sal 'n paar planne gaan maak die week vir hulle.
Johanna, dit goed gaan. En sê vir jou pa ons julle.
Hy sal so maak. Dankie.
Oh, there you go, folks. It is, of course, Marty's up against Durban. At the time that we were playing, Marty's didn't know who they were up against. Johan Momsen, they're just taken by surprise as they say, well, they're up against Durban this weekend. Before we look at the fixtures coming up, then, of course, at Newlands on Saturday, and it's going to be Monster Rugby. It's going to be really fantastic. Let's look at the promotion league that is currently playing out. So Morning Star with a win over Police, 29 points to 23. Wraithby 34-10 over Van der Stel. Those two teams, of course, coming out of the same league. Retreat and Laguna, 32-17 for Retreat. And then Silvertree going down to Blue Stars United. That makes us on the log with Blue Stars United in first place at the moment. Morning Star sitting in second place on 19, and Wraithby, well, they're sitting on 18. And of course, Masi Pumelele sitting in fourth place on 17 points. So there's still quite a few games in hand for the promotion league, and that'll still play out over the next few weeks. In addition to the fact that Super League A is going to be and A, B, and C is determined on Saturday at Newlands. But let's look at the fixtures and coming up in the promotion league this weekend. Evergreens take on Blue Stars United. That's going to be a bit of a derby match. Silvertree take on Retreat. These are our Wednesday games tonight, folks. Tonight we see Van der Stel against Blue Stars, Silvertree against Retreat. Then on the weekend, Retreat are back in action. They take on Masi Pumelele. Wraithby are up against Police playing at home. And then Morning Star up against Laguna on a Saturday. So a lot of games on tonight. Of course, Van der Stel and Blue Stars, Silvertree and Retreat. Watch the social media for the scores. And then this coming weekend, more action in the promotion league. But all eyes are heading towards Newlands this coming weekend. Starting, of course, relatively early. Starting at 10 o'clock, we've got Goodwood up against Kylemore. And then that match is going to be followed by Belleville and Helderberg. Now, those are promotion, relegation, qualifying games, folks. For those of you that are not aware, these teams have to play off to see who is going to end up getting promoted or relegated, or at least will play against the 13th position in each league. So important games there, of course, Bellville and Helderberg, Goodwood and Kylemore. But Super League A, B and C, of course, the winners will be determined this weekend when we see Busy Bees up against Macassar. Kick off there at 10-1, and then Primrose and Paarl at 2:10, and then Marty's take on Durbell at 3:30. Labib, we don't have any statistics here, but a couple of big games. Marty's, Durbell, quick prediction from you.
I'm going to go the underdog. I'm going with Durbell.
You think Durbell's the underdog?
Yes, definitely.
Right. Some people would say Marty's is the I'm sure Marty's will say that they are the underdog.
Yeah, they probably would.
The other big game, of course, here is Primrose and Paarl. Would you dare a prediction here?
Oh, it's a tough one, that.
Or is it better for you?
But I'm gonna put. I'm gonna go with Primroses for this one. Sorry for the Paarl guys, the people I know there, but I'm gonna back the Primrose Boychies on this one.
Well, they've got a bit of experience, having played in Super League A before, so then they were played, of course, at Newlands as well. Of course, I think one of the big cracker games, and I'm expecting probably the majority of the fans that come out on Saturday, is going to be Busy Bees Macassar, the Super League C game. The looking to see who wins the league. Both these teams are being promoted into Super League B. This is going to be, other than the fact that it's going to be a great game, it's going to be very exciting for both sides.
It's another tough one. But as the coach of Busy Bees said, they receive their cake, and I think the cake is going to be enough. My money's on Macassar for this one. So I'm betting Macassar.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think it's too close to call. I think, as I said to you earlier, I think it's going to be the team who has the most ball retention and maybe composure. Newlands can be a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, it can be, because you need to know how to play on Newlands. In some corners, the wind blows, you can't get out. But they must just enjoy the moment. All of them deserve it, and they deserve to be promoted. And we wish them the best of luck going forward.
Right, folks. Well, then there you have it. Of course, promotion, relegation qualifiers at Newlands on Saturday. The rugby starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday and finishes with the last game between Marty's and Durbell at 3:30. Everybody is welcome. It's going to be very exciting. It's a whole day of club rugby. Get down there. There's all sorts of fun and excitement happening on the day. Just before we wrap up, Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road has got all your paint specs. So if you need to get your house or your office sorted out paint-wise, then Dulux Maitland, they'll sort out the color specs for you. They'll come to your offices, they'll come to your house, they measure up exactly what it is that you need space-wise, and then they'll give you the right amount of paint to cover that distance. I love the fact one can go down to Dulux Maitland and they can really just work it out for you exactly how much paint that you need. So you save a lot of money, not only in the amount of paint distribution that you're going to need, but also in the quality of the product. You're getting a good quality product at an affordable rate. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us. Labib, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me, JP.
It's been great having you here, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the weekend.
Fantastic. That's a wrap from us here, folks. We'll see you on Saturday at Newlands. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.